Hi all, I wanted to do a video to talk about the differences between the MiniFee motion line boy body and the FairyLine boy body, which is like the MST, same size as the MiniFee, but it's called the FairyLine body. And I'm sure someone else has already done this, but I'm going to do it anyways. So right now, Fairyland is doing a special resin color event, and I'm super torn because I want everything and I can't have everything because money doesn't grow on trees. The event right now is like a special blue or gray resin, and so I'm trying to decide, do I just get the Fairyline one, even though it's slightly more expensive, in case I ever want to put him on animal legs or something, or do I just stick with MiniFee? So anyways, I just wanted to show you the differences if you've never seen them before, and there will be doll nudity in this video, so let's get going. All right, so the body on the right is the MiniFee motion line body in tan resin. The one on the left is the FairyLine body in the NS skin. And I'm going to start at the top and work my way down, comparing these two. The very first thing you'll notice is they have slightly different neck connector styles. I assume that this is so that when you're buying a body, you can easily identify if it is one or the other. On the FairyLine, there's a hook that sticks up on the top, and on the MiniFee, it has that little plastic cap, but they work exactly the same. The upper bodies themselves are identical as far as how they move and how they sound and how they pose. The torsos have the same level of posability, both forward and back. The shoulders are the same. They sound the same, forward, back. The elbows are double jointed and they have a smooth motion. It's the same for the FairyLine magnetic hands. So everything from here up is the same except for that neck connector. I'll show you, it's exactly the same. So, all right, so the hips, that's where it starts getting really interesting. So the FairyLine's biggest feature is that you can remove the legs very easily to attach it to animal legs. So when I pull on him, he comes apart. He has a ring on the end of his torso elastic that goes on that hook, and the ring fits in the lower body groove on the back. That's nice because then you don't have to manually restring it. It just holds on to the hook or the loop as long as you're really careful. And then when you're ready to put it back on, or if you want to put it on a different set of legs, you just put it in the loop and put it back on. Aside from that, it's obvious that the hip structure is different. Oh, I'll show you what this looks like. If you try to do the same thing to a motion line, there's this big plastic thing. It's really tight. It's not meant to come apart. The hip joints on the MiniFee are very complicated. It has kind of those like sub discs that help it smoothly rotate into a sitting position out to the sides. And I hate how sometimes the discs will rotate around though. So for as much as they're nice, they're kind of frustrating too. Or if the elastic in here rotates around this hook wrong or something. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but you're just like, the leg won't do what I want. And I get a lot of like positioning failures with these, but they're not difficult to fix if you're familiar with how the doll is supposed to look. The FairyLine is a lot more snappy. It has more of like a ratcheting system. So if you listen, and it is on a disc, you can see like the little ratchet pieces on there. And then that disc rotates. So if you want it forward or backwards or to the side, I know it goes to the side. Usually it's just really tight. And with it being tight and with it ratcheting, I like that it can do micro adjustments. So if I just want it a little bit out, it's going to stay there. Whereas the MiniFee, it's a little more floppy. And this part rotates, but it is different in structure than the MiniFee. It's kind of more of like that standard that you would see on most other dolls. Looking at the knees on the MiniFee are smooth. They are double jointed. With the FairyLine, they are ratcheting again. Still double jointed in the same way. And their structure is like the hips, where if you pull them apart, you'll see there's little grooves. Again, good for micro adjustments that hold really tight. The MiniFee, it still holds well, but it's a lot more smooth and just a little more floppy. Not that it's a big deal. Both of them have magnetic feet. The ankles are the same. So just know that those are the same. So hopefully that gives you a little insight in the differences between these two boy bodies, and you can make educated decisions when you want to decide if you want one or the other. I do have a few of both kinds. Sometimes with like special resin colors or whatever, it's nice to have the FairyLine body in case you want to put it on centaur legs later, or like the deer legs or whatever. That way you have that option. I have kind of like retrofitted a MiniFee to fit on animal legs, but it's a real pain because they don't have that same groove in the body, and they're strung differently too. So you'd have to restring the whole doll with a shorter elastic just for the torso, put a ring on it, and then use a pair of pliers to try and attach it to the FairyLine legs. It's a bit of a pain, but it is doable. And yeah, so there you go. And I hope you enjoyed.